Hi, Bob here, and in this video I just wanted to do a 15-minute walkthrough of different things, different techniques in watercolor using the Rebelle software. So it's a bit of a kind of suck and see for 15 minutes. We'll just see how it goes and hopefully you get some tips that you can pick up. So one of the things I wanted to talk about this week was the use of selections to try and keep your watercolor in an area that you're wanting to keep it in. So I really want this sharp looking hair shape, and by using a selection and then going into the watercolor, let's choose the basic kind of watercolor mop. Let's reset it just to see what we get, and we can see the watercolor taking place. Now my texture is all the way up here, that's why it went like really fast there. You can see the texture effect taking place. If I turn that right down, you'll notice that it does nothing. If I turn it up a wee bit, you get some of the texture effect starting to come through. So that's a wee tip to keep in mind, but let's look at keeping the watercolor inside this area. Now I'm going to change my canvas to a better looking canvas texture. I'm going to bring the texture up a wee bit. We're going to zoom in a wee bit and see what that looks like. I quite like it. Now I've been working on this Hunger Games drawing for the past week a wee bit. Whenever I've got time, I haven't had a lot of time to do drawing at night time, but I'm quite pleased with how it's going. I was trying to kind of just learn watercolor techniques and see what happens. So let's turn our water all the way up and we can see the watercolor effect taking place, but our selection does prevent that from getting it out of control. And it means that if we've got this shape, we can get some nice effects happening down here where the drips coming down and hitting the edge. We can even just fast dry that. Now I've said if I click the F key, you'll see this symbol that appears up here, and then we can turn off our selection and see what we've got. And I quite like that. It's quite a nice effect that you get. You can then go in and maybe do some to the edges here, but it gives you that control. Now if I want to keep that selection, if I bring my selection back up, I just hit Ctrl Z there. I can go to the edit menu, I can go to selection, I can save selection as, and then I can call it something. You can see, here, I put my pen in my mouth there, so apologies for that. But that then means I can go away, I can do other selections, maybe select this bit here, get some watercolor effect going on in there, freeze that, get rid of that, see what happens. Don't really like that, so I can just delete that, Ctrl Z all the way back. I can go in here, I can go edit menu, I can go to selection, I can go open selection, and I can go to here too, and it gives me back the selection I had. Now if I want to add to this selection, take away, let's try and see. So if you hold down the Alt key, we can take away a wee bit. We just need to do a circle like that. If I do like a square, it might show it better. You can see that's now got this shape to it. Now, I think my selection will remain the same, so if I go edit, selection, open selection, because I haven't resaved it, it goes back to the original shape. But we can also add to a selection. We also can add to a selection by using the Shift key. So if we wanted to add like jagged edges, we hold down the Shift key, bring that back in. It doesn't really matter, you can take it all the way up here. It's only going to add the bit that's extra. And you can see it's added in these jagged bits at the bottom. So that's using the Alt key and the Shift key to add selection details. So we're a couple of minutes in, you've got a few tips so far. One of the things I'd been working on was looking at different watercolor brushes here, and I'm not going to get hung up on this being a gouache brush, this one being a Sumi E, I don't know how you say that, Rebelle's Originals. I just like the fact that these have got different shapes and we can experiment to see what they give us. So turning the opacity right down to like 4, 3, 4, turning the water all the way up, we can see what we get. And we get, again, it's just these kind of lovely effects where you're not trying to add any new paint to the scene, you're trying to just get these nice watercolor effects. And I did speak about this re-wet property here, so it will pick up the paint. You can see that there. The more I have that up, the more paint it will pick up. And you can add in all these lovely textures just using this technique. If I turn that all the way down, it will give me an effect, but it's more of the drips coming through the paint. It's not affecting the paint as much as you turn the rewet all the way up, because it will start to pick up, and you can vary that while the watercolor's ongoing. So if I've got it really high, I can do it, and then it starts, and if I go really low, it changes the effect through time. It's a lovely feature, the fact that I can turn it up, turn it down, turn it up, turn it down. You can actually get some nice effects by doing that. It's like this looks like some almost like clouds with a halo type, the god kind of ray coming through. You could maybe just increase that a bit. Let's see if it will work. Some rain coming down there, but yeah, you get you the idea of utilizing these sliders to give us what it is that we're trying to achieve. And even if it's not something we're trying to achieve, but we just want to experiment, it's a great way of working. So let's take that selection away. Let's see what my drawing's looking like. I did try to start doing a little forest here. That might be another tutorial for another day. We've got all these lovely effects that we've managed to get through no painting process other than the watercolors really coming into their own. And it's lovely from adding blooms. So if I went for this colour, let's say I want to add some blooms in, we can, by the layer, get that water really far up. Let's get the opacity right up and we'll see what we get. Now, we would have to wet an area first to get a bloom. So we can go in here, we can wet this area here. Let's wet some of it. Okay, and turn off the tilt. What I want to do is I also want to turn down my diffusion speed, because that's, by the time I actually got all these clicks done, the water will have dried in because of the absorbency. Let's just add that water again. We can keep this up just so that we can use it. We've got the colour we want. We want to go back to this and add in a bloom effect taking place. And you can see that slowly happening. I'll zoom right in and you'll see that taking place. So I want the texture influence up to get those nice bloom effects. You can see the water's obviously picked up on the paint below and made this shape that we've got here. So we've lost some of that nice stuff we had before. And again, just that's through your rewet. So you could maybe turn your rewet right down. Let's go back. That should mean that the water just stays relatively. And then we can add in this to get a kind of bloom effect. On the water right down. Just see what we get. Just add those little blooms in. Let's go for a slightly different colour and get them to interact. They'll start interacting with each other. This level here. Use a tilt just to try and increase that effect. You see the watercolour taking effect and the water's mixing and the colours mixing. Add in some more while we're in at this level. And it's, I love Rebelle, it's fantastic. We've put a Facebook post up showing some of this effect and it is really quite beautiful. You can look at those shapes. I mean, if you're into abstract painting, some of these shapes I've managed to get just by experimenting are really cool. It's just lovely when you look at it. And you've just ended up with some really lovely texture into your drawings. It looks less digital. And I've been trying to get this face. Now, this is a girl in the new Hunger Games movie. What's it called? Is it Songs and Snakes? Songbirds and Snakes? Ballad of Song? Aye, okay, I'm not going to ruin it anymore, but I was looking at this and I was thinking maybe the filters would give me a better colour balance, I guess. Let's try the colour balance and see what we get. I'm trying to soften the look. I don't think this is actually what not going to help me what I'm trying to achieve, I don't think, using this colour balance one. You can see obviously you can get, again, a really cool effect. I've done that by accident and I quite like it. It's another way to get lovely colours and try different things, kind of soften things. I can use these to try different things. It's quite a cold colour scheme I've got here. The face is nice and warm. It's a bit cooler for these colours in the background. But we can use these filters, go to hue, saturation, and sometimes watercolour's a wee bit more washed out, so you could come in here and increase the lightness and just bring out more of that kind of water. You don't want to be too severe, but I did think that in my normal level here that my portrait is quite opaque, it's quite colourful, and I wanted it to be slightly lighter, and we get that with using like lightness. You can then increase the saturation. Let's see, you can balance this out. You can obviously with saturation you can take it all the way down and end up with a nice kind of black and white. If you take that all the way down, you're getting again some of these. Oh, that's quite scary. It's like a horror movie. So we can reset these back to normal. But I do like that idea of being able to desaturate our drawing, and you can desaturate one layer. You can see that taking effect there as well, where I've desaturated one layer but I've got two layers with colour on them. The bottom layer's got colour and we've desaturated the top layer, giving this nice effect. So I'll reset that again. I've got a few minutes left to talk about different things. Granulation's a good one. So if I wanted to add some granulation, oops, hey, cancel that. We can come down here to the bottom of the watercolours and we can add in our own granulation. That's obviously the opacities right up there. You can see that you can add in this effect of the granulation rather than using when it dries out. I've showed that before, I'll show it quickly, but again gives some great effects. Let's I'm going to duplicate that now because I don't want to lose that look. I'm going to come down to my granulation. I'm going to turn my water right up, my opacities all the way up. Some of this dark black here. And what am I trying to do? I'm going to turn the granulation all the way up. Just see what we get. And you'll see the granulation effect will start to take place because I've turned it all the way up. And see how you're picking up some of that lovely texture. Texture influences all the way up, and we're getting, again, it's just playing about with these settings gives so many different variations that there's not kind of one right and wrong answer. It's just loads of variations, but this is granulated now. Let's try with a kind of more softer brush so that we're not granulating granulation. That makes any sense, but I've got this nice lovely textured effect to my drawing now. Let's try and let's go for this really harsh black. And I've got the granulation set all the way up. On the rewet all the way up, it'll help as well. And you tend to see the granulation effect taking place. Let's turn up the diffusion speed. See it kind of in this area here. Granulation effect taking place, and it's like the paint drying into the canvas. Just lovely. I mean, if you're trying to do like a moon drawing, you can get some really cool crater type textures. You could go and get an image of the moon and then use that as your brush as an example. But I mean, if I just freeze that, you've got this lovely, it just looks like a mountain range from above. I think it's just really cool, the effects that we can get with this software. On that note, there's affiliate links in the description if you want to support the channel. So I think I've went through my tips. I'm just going to another minute or so and then we'll leave the video this week. And this is maybe the new format, because it's easy. I don't have to think about it too much. Just do my painting process, think about some of the techniques I've used. And I really love these pastels. These pastels are really cool. Well, there was one last thing I was wanting to talk to you about, and that was a hair effect. So if we go into our watercolors and we go and find the flat watercolor brush, grab some of this really dark, turn the opacity right up, the water's right down. You can see this brush is lovely for getting a kind of hair texture. Like, so you've just straightened your hair. Not that I've got a lot of hair to straighten, but grab some of that white and turn the opacity down a wee bit, and then you can start pushing the black and the white together to get that sheen where the light is hitting. And I think it's a lovely brush for adding very straight hair. Something's beeping. Oh, that's my time up. Thank you very much for watching. There's other videos on watercolour on my channel. Thank you very much, and Wee Bob is out.